What's the first thing you think of when someone mentions Israel? Maybe it's an Israeli flag, people praying at the Western Wall, the skyscrapers of Tel Aviv? For many people, though, Israel also brings to mind something else, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because that's what's often in the news. The conflict and attempts at making peace are a major part of Israel today. But there's so much more to the country's history, and that's why we put together this series, The History of Israel Explained, to take a look at Israel's story from multiple angles and perspectives and provide the context and nuance that's so often missing when people talk about what happens there. The history of Israel isn't simple. The early Zionists set out to build a country based on certain ideals, a place where Jews around the world could return from exile to their original homeland, united through their shared history, values, and connection to that land. But in the decades since, the region has been marred by many wars, and the effects of those wars on the people living there, Israeli and Palestinian alike, continue to this day. It would be easy to define Israel by these wars and terrorist attacks, but we'd be missing out on some of the most remarkable aspects of the country's history. Israel is a diverse place with people from different backgrounds and cultures, and they've risen above those differences time and time again, reviving Hebrew from a near extinct language to a common one spoken by millions, the camaraderie and shared vision of the socialist kibbutz communities, bringing together Jews from around the globe, Ethiopian Jews, Soviet Jews, Yemenite Jews. Whenever another country has threatened its Jewish population, Israel has been there to take them in. And over the past couple of decades, Israel's technology industry has boomed to the point that it's now often called the startup nation. So Israel is by no means defined by its wars. But part of being a responsible citizen of the world is acknowledging the more difficult chapters of history. And Israel has definitely had some difficult chapters. In 1948, Israel finally gained independence, which was exhilarating for the Jews, but it was also devastating, with 1% of its people killed in the war. And for the Arabs who lost their homes, it was a tragedy as well. In the village of Deir Yassin, Jewish fighters killed a number of Arabs in an episode that many Israelis still have difficulty grappling with today. These stories are important reminders that the responsibility of building a state and establishing security is messy, challenging, sometimes ugly, and definitely not perfect. For Israel, they're reminders that this is the first time in almost 2,000 years that the Jewish people again have self-rule, and they've become lessons that Jewish leaders and policymakers continue to look back on as they attempt to balance developing hopes for peace with maintaining Israel's security. The history of Israel is also inextricably intertwined with Zionism, the political movement made up of ancient ideas and ideals from the Bible to reestablish a Jewish homeland in Israel. But Zionism is anything but monolithic. Some Zionists are secular, some are religious, still others aren't even Jewish at all. Some support Israel retaining control over Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, while others don't. The leaders of the Zionist movement never saw the world in exactly the same way and had both complementary and sometimes competing visions for Zionism. Ultimately, though, Zionism is about reestablishing Jewish roots in the Jewish homeland, about Jews taking control of their future, about demonstrating self-confidence and independence, about being the majority culture rather than relying on others who often oppressed and persecuted them. And by exploring the story of Israel, you can start to see the complexity of that mission and how it has led to the country that exists today, with its unique strengths as well as its flaws. We've created this series to explore all of these topics: the military, the political, the heroic, the conflict, as well as the amazing stories beyond it. I'm Jacob Schwartz, and this is the History of Israel Explained.